One, two, three, and we're live. Hey there, how are you? This is Phil again, and we're talking Star Trek Picard recap review, season one, episode six, called The Impossible Box. I want to apologize about last week. Unfortunately, my father passed away, and then immediately after Carnival started here in Brazil, where I am, and by the way, I'm wearing a scarf. You're like, how the hell is he in Brazil? Remember, here the seasons are opposite, and it's a huge country, so not everywhere is tropical, paradise. I'm closer to the south, and it's been raining, cold, and everything more fall weather that you can imagine. So that's why I got the scarf on. I actually don't have a jacket on because I'm indoors, but I had a jacket on all day today. But anyway, let's get to it. Let's get to it. And if you do get a chance to listen to last week's recap review or the one I did yesterday about last week, do it. I really liked the episode. I thought it was really cool, but I like this one a lot better. Probably my favorite one so far this year. One problem with Picard, minor criticism, is that it relies a lot on exposition and it relies a lot on callbacks to what came before. I don't think it does it for fan service exactly, but sometimes I think it spends too much time trying to just remind us that, hey, this is that person from here, remember that, and oh, this is what Picard went through with the Borg. They did a little bit of that in this episode, but I thought it was so cool, the flashbacks of Picard. And that's the main thrust of this episode. Patrick Stewart was great in that it demonstrated a lot of the post-traumatic stress disorder that he still had after all these years. Remember, he went wild in First Contact, one of the great scenes in First Contact when he absolutely goes wild. And some people don't like that. Some people actually think that's Patrick Stewart messing too much with the Picard character, who's supposed to be extremely diplomatic all the time. But guess what? He went through a real tough ordeal being assimilated by the Borg, and it's something that still affects him to this day. Why wouldn't it? I mean, he's a great man within Star Trek lore, but look at everybody else that's been assimilated and come out of it. They haven't exactly been able to assimilate back to normal life as well as one would expect, because it's rough. It's rough. You're basically just you're raped. It's like a rape, and you have the physical scars to remember it for the rest of your life. He actually lucked out that he doesn't have the physical scars. But you see Seven of Nine, you see Hugh, which by the way made a comeback this episode. I wasn't didn't impress me much his first time around, and then they just kind of stopped showing him, and I was like, okay, I kind of wished Hugh would play a bigger role in the drama. In this episode, he definitely did. He was really great, and the scene where they finally met after all these years was so heartwarming, and Patrick Stewart gave a great big smile. I loved it. But yeah, just to begin where I had already begun, is Picard still being haunted by his Borg assimilation. I thought they did that really well. There were moments where they were maybe overplaying it a little bit, maybe a little bit of fan service, but I don't care. I mean, give me fan service. Picard behind his own image when he was on the computer, and he got, they got those computer screens that have no back. By the way, Star Trek fans complain about everything, man. And I saw in one of the groups they were complaining about the lack of privacy with these new sort of computer screens that don't have a back to it. And I don't know. I mean, it's so far into the future. I think that if they wanted to, there's probably like some command, like back screen command or something, like computer back screen. And excuse me. And people won't see you watching the, what is this, the 23rd century or whatever version of X videos, PornTube. I'm sure it still exists. I'm sure it's still out there, and I'm sure you can hide your privacy if you want to. Otherwise, I think it's really cool that they have these computers that you can, I guess your eyes would adjust, to just seeing what's in front of you and not what's behind the screen. I think it's just a matter of just getting used to it. Our eyes tend to adjust to what we're focusing on, even in our daily lives now. But that was a really cool shot. talking about fan service. You have Locutus, and then old Patrick Stewart looking through the image of his own face from back then. There were a few side stories, a few side plots that I guess are going somewhere. I'm not sure. One is Captain Rios and Girardi. Little love thing going on. I guess she's got the hots for him. She kind of showed she did right from the first episode, but I'm not feeling it. And then it made me think like Trek just doesn't do romance very well. Obvious exceptions: Worf and Jadzia, great little love, uh, uh, copulation, whatever you want to call that, love connection. But then DS9 just did everything better. Throwing a little shade there for the rest of the Star Trek series. But Deep Space Nine just did. They really, compared to the other series, I mean, you can't beat it as far as character development, as far as character arcs, as far as really taking their time to dig into a character and getting to the bone of who they are. So much so that there were characters at the beginning of DS9 that I absolutely hated, and then by the end, I absolutely love. But this is the Picard podcast, so let's talk more Picard. And this love thing was just like not a love thing or sex thing or whatever the hell it was thing. It just reminded me of all the times that Star Trek just really is bad at building romances between their cast members. Speaking of Worf, Deanna Troi and Worf, right? Uh, but we shall see. I mean, we're going to see the Rikers. Oh, no, it's not the Rikers, right? Because they have to take, it's the Troys, right? Because they take the female's last name in Betazoid tradition. So we shall see if they will be the Troys or the Rikers. Next episode, well, that's a lovely couple because they got such great chemistry. But anyway, I'm glad that was a short scene. Rios with shirt off. I mean, definitely playing to a demographic there, but it's 2020 Trek, so you got to play a little bit to some demographics. And then you had the Rafi meeting her son kind of storyline, which I talked a little bit about in the last episode. Wasn't really feeling that storyline, but it got her back on the ship, which is where she should have been just to begin. But I guess they kind of needed to give her character a little bit of depth. Good thing is that this actress, she's just awesome, and she sells it. She sells it. I care about her. So I mean, it's kind of a nonsensical storyline, but due to her delivery, I dig it. I dig it. In that scene where her and Rios are talking in her quarters and where she just breaks down, she's drunk, and she just realizes, hey, I fucked up with my child. And he's like, man, not everybody gets this right. So I'm glad that's over. Hopefully we can just have badass Rafi. And she rocks, man. I mean, she Picard decides that the way to get into the Borg cube, the X Borg cube, whatever it is, defunct, is to try to get a diplomatic license or diplomatic, what would you call that? Just go in there as a diplomat from the Federation. And Rafi is the one that does the smooth talking to is one of her contacts in Starfleet. She's so cool the way she goes about it and gets what she needs to get done. So I love her character. I hope there's more of her. I hope she sticks around for season 2. In fact, I mean, yeah, Rios, I mean, he hasn't done anything that's really impressed me, Rios. So I don't know if we need him for season 2, but I kind of hope Rafi sticks around for season 2 for whatever adventure they have in store for Picard. Who knows what it'll be. Now, let's get to the Borg Cube. I had mentioned last episode that I was kind of glad that they didn't show anything going on in the Borg Cube because it was or the artifact, I should call it the artifact, because there wasn't anything happening. It was a little bit repetitive. And, it's just the guy trying to get into her head and her kind of trying to figure him out. And then the sister showing up and being like, yo, hurry up. Basically, that's what had happened for the last, however many scenes that they were on the artifact. Not sure if they're gonna pick up with that Romulan who could, the tarot reading Romulan, whatever she was. It'd be kind of cool if they went deeper into that, but otherwise, kind of repetitive, kind of not moving the story forward. But this week, they managed to move the story forward by a lot because Soji wakes up. She realizes by the end that she is a. Oh, did I forget to say spoilers? Always spoilers, guys. There's spoilers in these videos. Sorry, it's a recap. But well, there's non-spoiler recaps. This is a spoiler recap. So if I ruined it for you, I am so sorry. But anyway, um, yeah, the whole thing with her and Eric, the Romulan spy and his sister, was well put together. I like that we as an audience got to see. We knew that he was what he was up to, but we still got to see how he operated. It's kind of a different take because a lot of times we don't know until the very last minute. Oh, he's an operative, or oh, he was tricking her the whole time. Trying to stab her in the back, double crossing. But here we kind of knew what the end game was. He was trying to be very delicate in trying not to activate her, but he wasn't on her side. I mean, they kind of played it a little bit like you maybe he's really falling for her. I mean, they got me a couple times, but this episode made it really clear that no, he's not on her side. And it was cool that we got to know that and still see how he operated, and it still worked. It still created suspense because obviously the suspense is she gonna wake up? Is she gonna turn into like the bionic woman? And it's like the bionic She-Hulk and just like smash shit up, which is exactly what she does do once he takes her into this Romulan meditation place, to do some Zalmak and get her to talk about her dreams. He figures out that she's dreaming somehow, and it's some subroutine. It's like her machine brain trying to reconcile with what she believes is her human brain in order to make sense of what the hell she is. So she's having these flashbacks, but they're not really flashbacks of herself as a child walking into a room, seeing her dad, but she can never look past her dad. He's like, look past your dad. And then when she does, she sees herself at the table, and then she kind of realizes, well, she doesn't yet. She's like, why am I on a table in pieces? And he's like, well, because you're synthetic. But he got what he needed, which is the location of the home world. Now, this is really interesting. Not sure where it's going with this, but then again, I'm not as smart as some of you. So if you guys know, let me know. Is it a Romulan place? Is it a place where all the synthetics are born? Are there more synthetics of her caliber out there? Who knows? For a second, I thought she was going to bite the dust. Glad she didn't, because as soon as he got information from her, he locked her in his room, put some radiation gas. Although, can you kill a synthetic with radiation? I mean, you would think they would have like enhanced breathing. I mean, hasn't Commander Data been through a lot of radiation, and he was okay, I guess. So I didn't quite get. I thought it would be a bomb, but at the same time, I'm like, would he blow up like one of his like mini temples or something kind of like out of Star Trek Nemesis, where that little thing opens up and then everybody's skin melts, which is kind of a cool effect. So I wasn't really expecting it to be radiation, but then when the black Romulan guard tries to go in because he's like, yo, she's breaking through the bottom, she starts going bionic, breaking through the bottom of the meditation center. He's like, don't go in there, the radiation. I was like, radiation? So not sure. I mean, I would figure you would need something a little bit stronger to kill a robot, unless, well, she's not a robot, right? A synthetic, an android. Uh, maybe it would melt her skin. I don't know. I don't know how that operates. Or if she's not awakened, can she be hurt? And there's a lot of questions. Has she never bled before? There's a lot of things that makes me wonder how it is that for so long she hasn't realized who she was. Oh, hi! I got one person watching. That's kind of cool. That's a new thing for me because usually I put these up and then I post them right after, and then I get views. Which, by the way, thank you, people who watch, like and subscribe. It's kind of cool. I'm getting a lot of hits on these videos, so it's makes me feel good because I'm tired. I got up at 6 o'clock, 6 a.m. this morning, and it's now close to 11 p.m. So I had a long day. Oh, you went bye bye. Anyway, so getting back to Captain Picard, though, um, because those were like the A B stories that mattered. There were like C and D stories that I didn't care that much about. But Picard's flashbacks, man, when he gets inside the Borg cube, he's not feeling going in there, and I loved how Stewart gave Picard full vulnerability. He did not back down from it. He's like, this guy's scared. He's shitting his pants. He's not the brash younger Picard from First Contact who's like, I know how to beat them. Hit them here, here, and here. And no, they're all gonna die. And I'm not gonna let them get away. He's past that. He's an old man now. And I thought it was so cool to show that level of fear in him. Like he looked like he was gonna poop his pants. And he looked like he was, and he was. He wasn't. Didn't look like he was about to fall out. He was going to fall out until the Borg, the ex Borg, came there and kind of held him up. And then he's like, "Let go of me, let go of me." Uh, but then Hugh shows up right at the exact moment when he's about to fall, and they're like, "They're just trying to make sure your ass don't fall over." So it was kind of cool. He was having a panic attack. Uh, cool that they showed this weakness in Picard. It was very cool because one criticism I have of Picard, the character, one reason I it took me a while to warm up to him. It's like he's too stoic for me, too stoic. I prefer Kirk because he's emotional. He doesn't show that much weakness. Obviously, it's Kirk, but at least he shows that he's not sure. He's just kind of going on gut feeling. Whereas Picard, you always got the sense that, yeah, he measured this. He's very meticulous. He knows exactly what he's doing, why he's doing it, and game over, right? So it's cool to see this more human Picard, fallible. It took him to almost like 90 years old to show that side. Although Rafi made a great point about Picard, the part of him that's not ego is id, right? So, and then he Stuart gave her this look like that. So overall, that's the storyline basically. In a nutshell, they show up at the Borg cube. He finds Soji just in time. Soji's been awakened. The Romulans want to kill her. Hugh gets him off the ship in just enough time via this super transporter. Uh, Legolas, I forgot his name now, Enron, I don't know, the Romulan Lord of the Rings dude. He transports to the Borg ship. I don't know how. Again, there's a few things that's like, okay, but he's there just in the nick of time to slice up some guards that are ready to get Picard, which is cool because I kind of wanted to see him in action. They had kind of put his sword down for ever since he did that awesome chopping of heads, I think in episode 4. So it was cool that he got a little bit of action in and wasn't just a comic relief because he is a serious character, even though he's kind of young and naive. He decided to stay behind with Hugh, although I don't think he needed to, I guess. I mean, well, I guess Hugh explained that they needed a minute before he could totally conceal where Picard had transported off of. So, Lord of the Rings, Legolas, Romulan, Regulus, I'm going to call him Regulus, he had to fight those people off. Anyway, that's it. That's the story. And then next week, I guess we're going to have Picard being chased down by the Romulans, who are, oh, those are my dogs, scared the crap out of me. Uh, the Romulans who are chasing after them. They found out Hugh maybe helped Picard. We're gonna get a little bit of Riker and Troy, so we'll see what that means. Picard does say that he's lost everything, lost his crew, lost everybody. So we shall see. This is definitely coming to the climax. Obviously, it's episode 6 out of 10, so we got 4 more episodes to conclude this adventure. The exposition in the beginning, worth it for what we're getting on the back end. I kind of trust where the story is going. I kind of trust the acting, the writing, directing. So I'm not too worried about it. And that's about it. Those are my thoughts. I give this episode, I think I'm going to give an 8.9. Not a 9, but definitely 8.9 or 8.8. A few parts of it lagged a little bit. It's definitely, I mean, it could have been 5 minutes shorter, cut out a lot of the C and D storylines because it didn't really add anything. And maybe just stuck with more suspense, the suspense of Picard going into the Borg cube and the suspense of Soji finally realizing she's going to be double crossed by Narek. But, they got to build up the other characters because Girardi, I guess, is going to be really an important figure at the end of all of this. Is she a secret agent? Was she given misinformation and now she's all freaked out? Who knows? I thought it was kind of neat and clean how they explained away the fact that she killed her own lover or husband. I mean, there's medical logs. Nobody checked. Did they trust her that much? The hologram saw her kill him. Wouldn't a hologram report to the captain about something like that? I'm not sure. Does she only have clearance to the medical area? That was a little bit neat and clean, but whatever. I mean, Star Trek's got moments like that. It's nothing new. Okay, so that's it, people. Thank you for watching. Until next week, keep trekking, live long and prosper, and let's see where we get. Leave comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And adios.